It's hard to believe that these structures were abandoned 2 decades ago, but Old Joliet continues to beckon adventurers into its complicated and sordid history. Hi, I'm Drew, and that's Bethany.
Behind us is an abandoned penitentiary with nearly 200 years of history embedded in its walls.
Join us as we explore the Old Joliet Prison right here on Oddity Opposites. Train bridge.
Yep, that's ancient.
I finally get to take you to prison. I've been waiting to do that for so many years.
And he finally gets to make that joke that he's been wanting to make all day. We are visiting a prison that has made headlines for many, many reasons over the years, but it has also held infamous prisoners such as Babyface Nelson and James O'Ray, who murdered Martin Luther King Jr. Oh, hey, here it is.
Look, here it is.
Oh, wow. That is very creepy looking.
I wonder what gate we go in at. There's the East Gate.
We did get tickets in advance to check in. They said to go to the main parking lot. Joliet Prison can be found a couple miles north of downtown Joliet off of Collins Street. Visitor parking can be found at the south entrance.
This would be the south gate.
Woodruff. Oh, yeah, okay, here's the sign.
In we go. Yeah, this is definitely the main entrance over here.
And the windows are broken.
Oh man, I wonder how much of this they're gonna let us see.
Old Joliet was constructed to keep people in, but now it's a historical location that people from all over the world want to enter and see.
Right, and we secured our self-guided tour tickets in advance.
Yes, and we have our handy dandy map here to help us figure out where everything is. People get so enamored with the fact that we could visit now because it's abandoned, but when it was inhabiting inmates, you could pay 25 cents for a tour, and they were instructed to just not associate or point out or talk to any of the inmates that were here. So it's not a new revelation today that we were able to explore and see the inside.
Here we are at the East Gate, and we are heading in.
The walls of Joliet Prison witnessed the daily horrific lives of inmates, but it wasn't Illinois' first penitentiary. Joliet replaced the Alton prison after it came to light that those incarcerated at Alton, including soldiers and women, were living in disease and filth.
In 1858, 53 prisoners made their way to the unfinished walls of Joliet. They were tasked with quarrying nearby limestone to build their own prison around them. In fact, one of the old limestone rock crushers still stands to this day, overgrown and decaying, just a stone's throw to the northeast of the prison. And the quarry itself, where these men once worked tirelessly, is now hidden beneath the calm surface of a nearby lake. By 1878, the prison's population had grown to almost 2,000 prisoners, making Joliet one of the most populated prisons of its time.
So we are in the east cell block of the old Joliet prison. These are incredibly small, and what blows my mind is that before this was reconstructed, they were a lot smaller.
Well, it is prison.
But back in the day, these were much smaller and held 2 men at once. So think about that. There's already not a lot of space in there. These were actually reconstructed later to hold, I think it went from 500 cells to 320 for a little bit more space. So you can imagine all the thousands of people that were here, and the banging and the shouting and the yelling and the daily horrific lives. And the ceiling is peeling, everything is peeling off. Look at this. I can't see inside there, so I'm not going in there.
We don't know what's going to jump out at you.
This is surprisingly a very small part of the old Joliet prison. This place is massive, but we did need to see this part. I feel like this was very important.
What happened in there?
A flood?
Or the ceiling collapsed?
Yeah.
Look at that. Just all landed on the floor.
I'm guessing it's a good idea to not go up to the top. You'd probably cave right in.
Yeah, but they had stacked inmates here. Can we go? Oh no, it's This one's chained. A lot of them are chained. Sadly, there are several areas of the prison that we're not allowed to explore these days, mostly because of safety concerns. One of which is the underground tunnels. There's a whole network of underground tunnels under this prison that were built during World War II. And they connect the administration building here with the armory, which is out there.
The tunnels were just one of many additions that made this place much more complex and mysterious.
That's true. And there are rumors that the tunnels were used to smuggle contraband to the prisoners, but their intended use was for guards to be able to move throughout the prison quickly and quietly without being seen. Do you see any tunnels?
Well, I thought it was someone else down there, but it's just my reflection.
Oh, water.
But it does look like it maybe like curves in. It's hard to see, but it might be where it goes into. They would be under all of this property.
Interesting. Yeah, it could be. Well, we can't explore old Joliet prison without talking about its appearances in pop culture.
Yes, we would get a lot of backlash in the comments if we did not mention the 1980 film Blues Brothers, which, as you can see, there's a gas pump here.
There sure is.
To commemorate the film. Starring Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi, the film is such an integral part of the prison's history due to its cameo appearance that they host an annual Blues Brothers convention here on site.
That's cool.
Also, the television show Prison Break used Old Joliet as a filming location as well.
So if you want to see Old Joliet as a cameo in some films, you know where to look.
Okay, so we're entering the dining hall. There is a different look to this, not including the modern art. This is one of the more modern structures on the property. It replaced a building in 1904 to kind of create a more communal space for dining. Before that, prisoners were only allowed to eat in their cells.
From what we know about the size of the cells, that was probably pretty difficult.
So not only were quarters tight, but inmates came forward later to say that there was no proper medical treatment and there was an abuse of their labor. For instance, during the Great Depression, people would bring in broken children's toys for the inmates to fix without any kind of compensation. And as you can see, this does have a different look than all the other structures because it was built in 1987.
I guess this is where they lined up to get their food.
Yeah. Reminds me of an elementary school cafeteria. But still, some uneasy feelings
Definitely.
here. Welcome to the North Seg.
Yeah, this is very heavy. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm feeling good about being here.
It does affect you.
This is heavy. As she said, this is North Seg or North segregation. In other words, solitary confinement. And I'm like, I don't even want to go in here, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
This is where inmates who needed to be removed from the general population would have to live for 23 hours a day. I guess the last hour they would let them outside, and they would eat 2 ounces of bread and a little cup of water every day. That was it.
You can't even look out the window. It's too high up.
It's too high. How would you spend the time? Just doing push-ups, I guess. I don't know. You probably wouldn't have the energy if they're not feeding you that much. You have a little cot and a toilet and a little sink, and that's it. And for some prisoners, as part of their cruel and unusual punishment, they would be chained in a standing position. They would literally have to stand all day. This was one of the worst prisons as far as treatment of prisoners. It's unbelievable.
A lot of stuff that came out later about it, that's for sure.
Yeah. Exit or no exit?
I don't think we can get out that way. It's barred off.
No exit for these people.
No exit. But I did see something on the way in that I wanted to point out. On our way out that I think means a little bit more now that we've kind of explored. And it's the emblem that says it's never too late to mend. And this is what was walked over every day inside these prison walls.
Look at this. Must have been the church. Unbelievable. All the glass is broken out. Confessionals over here. In November of 2001, Governor George Ryan announced that Old Joliet would shutter its doors to shave millions off the corrections budget. By 2002, the Old Joliet prison closed for good. Cells were abandoned, inmates were transferred to other prisons, and the dank halls that once echoed with shouts and banging fell silent.
Once full of decay, despair, and neglect, Old Joliet has found new life through restoration. The Gothic turrets and towers of the prison forever hold the countless harrowing stories from its years in operation. But today, it offers a chance to share those stories as an authentic asset of history. If you would like to visit Old Joliet, check out jolietprison.org to see which tour would suit your historical needs.
We love exploring the odd, the unusual, and the forgotten, and then sharing it with all of you. If you'd like to help support our work, check out our Patreon page down in the link below and see if there's anything you can do to contribute. There you'll find exclusive bonus content, including our extended exploration at the old rock crusher mentioned earlier in the video.
We feel as though we've just scratched the surface of the history of Old Joliet, so perhaps one day we'll return. For now, we're glad to have had this adventure, and we'll see you guys on the next one. There are some events that happen here at Joliet, such as the car show, the Blue Brothers Con, whatnot. So you can see where some of that is set up on the interior.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think about over 100 years and thousands of inmates just sitting here eating and talking.